Welcome to North Sun Tabletop Games. Today we're going to be playing Carnage and Aether, Revenants of Veldonia, Tactical Arena Battles in the World of Ker Nethalas by Black Oath Entertainment. We're going to be doing the first introductory mission. It is a death match against skeletal horrors. So we've got our arena set up. Let's go ahead and look up skeletal horrors description. The remnants of fallen warriors, cursed to wander eternally. These skeletal monsters are shrouded in the tattered, blood-stained remnants of their once proud armor, their bones blackened and charred by the fires of the afterlife, with hollow eye sockets emanating an otherworldly glow. They wield spectral weapons with an unnatural dexterity, instilling dread in the hearts of any who dare cross their path. And they will be going up against Kayla Night Whisper. She is our Revenant, a Dreadshot Mindbinder in the arena. The first step of combat is the maintenance phase where you will refresh any conditions, but we don't have any of that for the first round. So we will start off by rolling initiative. The D100 system, the 2 red dice will be for the skeletal horror. The black die will be for Kayla. They get plus 10 to their initiative based on their creature stats. And Kayla is equipped with a short bow, so she'll get plus 20. All right, so she's got 31. That's going to be a 51, and they got a 75. So the skeletal horrors will go first. All right, so round 1. Both player characters and creatures have 10 stamina. Stamina is used to do standard actions as well as enhance your movement. But for now, we will roll an action dice. So the creatures each have a D6 table, which determines what they do. And we'll start with the skeleton closest to the bottom of the map. We'll roll the D6. Let's see. 2. They're going to do a curse slash, so they need to get within range 1. And normally this game is divided into squares where you can move up, down, left, right, not diagonally. So I'll kind of be tweaking it a little bit to make the characters move straight. All right. So they can move 2. That's their speed. So first they'll do 1, 2, and they'll try to get as close as possible. So they are going to spend every 3 stamina can move you 1 hex. So they'll spend 9 stamina and move 3 more hexes to get closer. 1, 2, 3. So at the end of your turn or at the end of a creature's turn, if they still have stamina remaining, they get to make a momentum check. So what they'll do is they have a D6 die. We will roll it. If they roll a 1 or a 2, this goes down to a D4. And then when they roll a D4, if they roll a 1 or a 2, then they will gain an extra 10 stamina point. So we'll roll this for them. 3, so their momentum die will stay at a 6. So we'll keep that to the side. All right, now let's roll for the other skeletal horror and see what they do on their turn. It's going to be the same thing. They move 2 for their speed, and then they're going to spend 9 stamina to move 3 more hexes. 1, 2, 3. And they get closer, and then we'll roll to see if they gain any momentum. Nope, they don't get any momentum. And then it's over to Kayla. So on Kayla's turn, she is equipped with a short bow. Got a range of 8. 2-handed. Let's see how far we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She's not quite close enough, but she can move 2 spaces. So we'll have her move 1 and 2. That does not cost any stamina. And then for her first action, she'll take a shot at skeletal horror on the right. She has a piercing weapon. So we will be trying to roll under her skill. Her skill is 60. The skeletal horrors have a combat skill of 40. They need to roll under 40. Similar to Ker Nethalas, the attacker gets plus 10. So if she rolls under 70, And under 40, we compare the results. All right, so she got a 59, which is a hit. They got a 39, which is a successful defense. 59 is greater than 39, so they win the attack. And then there are different damage types. So again, if I didn't mention it before, this game is very crunchy. It's extremely crunchy. So if you like some crunch with your food, this is the one to pick. All right, so let me see if I can find the damage types. So on page 38 of the rulebook, piercing damage, caused mainly by certain weapons and creatures such as spears or a beast bite. Piercing damage deals +1 when the attacker's check is a success, while the defender's check is a failure. So they did pass, so we won't get that +1 bonus. But her dread shot does let her ranged attacks do +1 damage. So all weapons do a d6 damage to start off with. And then we'll check and see what the hit location was. All right, 18. The skeletal horrors are humanoid. So she hits it in the right arm. We get a +1, so this 5 will become a 6 on the damage dice roll. And then what you do is you check the die roll chart and see how much damage that is. So a 6 is 2 damage. So she tags this guy for 2 damage. The skeletal horrors have 8 life. She clips him. And she is using a ranged weapon. So a ranged weapon has an ammo die. So our ammo die is a d8. If we roll a 1 or a 2 on the d8, then we go down to a d6. And if it keeps going down, we'll eventually run out of ammo. So she is fine. She notches another arrow. She's going to spend 5 more stamina to do another attack. All right, so she got a 72 and they got an 80. So those are 2 failures. And I like to use the rule for when you have 2 failures, the highest skill is still successful. So that will still be a hit because her combat rating is 70 and theirs is 40. So we'll go ahead and roll damage and the hit location for that. But it is -1 to the damage roll. So normally she would get a +1. But when you miss and you still apply the hit, it's -1 to damage. Let's roll this. She rolled a 5. So normally she get a +1 because of her dread shot mastery. That 6 will go back to 5. So again, it will do 2 more damage. So now, Skeletal Horror has 4 damage on it. And then we did miss, so we will get 1 determination point. So we'll have 1 determination point. We'll set that to the side. Every time you miss, you can get a determination point. And as you add those up, usually you need a minimum of 6. You can spend them on your turn as an action to do desperate moves. And there's a list of desperate moves in the book that you can check out. We'll see if we get that high during this playthrough. And for each shot with a ranged weapon, we have to do another ammo check. Right, we got a 7. We're still looking good on arrows. Okay. So she got 2 shots off. That's going to wrap up her turn. Let me just make sure and glance through these rules, make sure we aren't forgetting any step. Initiative, attacking, okay. There's no intervening terrain. We didn't roll any criticals. No integrity for armor checks. We didn't spend any exhaustion yet, so nothing to do with that. All right. New round, the skeletons will go. Let's see what they are going to want to do. 4 is Ethereal Grasp. They have to be in range 1 to do that. They were trying to get as close as possible, or at least this first one will. We can move 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then it will spend 3 more stamina again to get closer. So 1, 2, and we'll move over 1, 3. That's as close as it can get. We'll do a momentum check because it still has 1 stamina left. So move 2. It spent 9 stamina to move 3 more spaces. All right, no momentum bonus. Let's see what the second skeletal horror is going to do. That's per slash, so it is also going to try to move up. It's going to do 1, 2, and then it will also spend its stamina 1, 2, 3, and get very close to our hero. We'll make a momentum check for them. Nope, still no momentum gained. And then it is over to us. All right, so I think what we're going to do, we're going to use our Mind Binder ability. So she has a mastery. It costs 5 Aether called Suppress Mind. She's got 15 Aether in total, 1 creature. We can use it to make the creature not be able to take any magic actions for 1 round, and if it tries to, it has to do nothing. So she is going to cast that, attempt to cast it on the first skeletal horror. When you cast magic, you look at the creature's magic resistance. Their magic resistance is 30. Let's see if they can resist. They got a 64, so they do not resist. So this guy has suppressed mind on him. So if he does any type of action, and I'll just put this little green thing to show he has suppressed mind. When he rolls his action check, if he rolls something that says magical, he won't move and he will lose his turn. Right. So it costs 5 stamina to do that. Again, everybody has 10 stamina. So she's got 5 left. She can move 2. And I think we might back up 2 and then shoot the other guy. So we're going to move 1, 2. And then we'll fire a shot at the hurt skeletal horror. So it's going to be 70 for us, 40 for the skeletal horror. Now, since she's a dread shot, normally if you move and attack, there would be a minus to it, but her dread shot mastery lets her ignore that minus. So another attack. Ooh, she got an 85. Not great. They got a 98. So that's 2 fails. So again, we'll hit. Because we are using the rule for both fails, whoever has the highest skill hits. It's going to be -1 to the damage. So she got a 5. So she would have got a 6 from Dread Shot. So it'll come back to 5. That'll do 2 more damage to the skeleton. Oh, and the skeleton failed its roll. So the piercing will do +1 damage. So it will be a 6. 6 on a turn, I think it's still 2. Yep, 6 is 2 damage. So he is up to 6 damage. He's got 2 life left. And then we will make our ammo roll. 3, we're fine on ammo. Our determination, since we failed the roll, will go up to 2. We got 2 determination. All right, then we will go to the next round. Skeletal horrors will activate. Let's start with this one on the bottom of the screen. See what they're going to do on their turn. 6, Haunting Wail. Skeletal horror lets out a haunting wail that reverberates through the air. All creatures within range that fail their magic resistance check become dazed for 1 round. So let's see how close he can get, if he can get close enough. So he's going to move 2, 1, 2. And he needs to spend burst. He has to be 1 away. So if he spends 3 stamina to move 1, 6 stamina, and then 7, 8. He can't do it. He's not going to have 5 stamina to do it. So he'll move right up next to us. His momentum stays the same. Let's see what his friend does. That is curse slash. That is a physical attack. So unfortunately, that is not going to be stopped by the suppressed mind. So he's going to move 1, 2, and then he can spend 3 stamina to move here. That will leave him with 7 stamina left, and he can make an attack. All right, so he will attack, standard action for 5. This time the skeleton is the aggressor, doing a physical attack, slashing damage. So he will need a 50, and we will need, our dodge is 60. So 97 for us, we are not dodging. 64 for them. Oh, 66 for them. That is a fumble. All right, so our dodge is 60. Their crit is 50, so we will evade the attack. He rolled a crit, but it's a crit fumble. Let me find the crit fumble page for monsters. NPC fumble, so that is a D10 table on page 41 of the book. We'll roll a D10 for this skeletal horror and see what the fumble penalty is, a 3. The creature is restrained for the next D4 rounds due to some vegetation or refuse in its vicinity. Let's roll a D4 and see what we get. So it is restrained for 3 rounds. All right, so this is going to wear off. So I'm just going to change this to a 3 to show that it's restrained for 3 rounds. And I need to find conditions. So let's look for conditions. Where is conditions? Go to the index. Damage dealt. Critical hits. I don't see conditions in the index. Let's see. All right, conditions are on page 69. Restrained. The afflicted is wrapped in something that restricts their movement. They are incapable of moving, and any actions that imply movement suffer -20 penalty. In their turn, the restrained character can attempt an athletics check in order to remove the condition. This is a free action, but the character can choose to spend a standard action instead to receive +20 to their athletics check. This can be attempted several times in the same turn. Okay. So they'll try to get loose, and that is going to be on page 70. Right, so that is their turn. Then it is our turn. So one other thing about the skeletal horrors is they have a trait. Their trait is frightened. Frightening. So let's look up the trait for frightening. A frightening creature causes 1 shock to any enemy creature that starts their turn adjacent to them. Only 1 shock per round is gained, regardless of how many frightening creatures a character is near to. So that is unfortunate. Shock is physical and mental trauma. So Kayla will take 1 shock from being that close to these creatures, even though one is restrained. Now, Kayla's turn. So we're going to try to move. In order to do that, we have to try to disengage. So when you're next to a creature and you want to move away from them, you would check to see which creature has the highest athletic score. So in order to be able to freely move away from combat, as a free action, a PC must pass a dodge check opposed to the opponent they are orthogonally adjacent to, possessing the highest athletic score. The check fails, the character is unable to move and remains engaged in combat. So it looks like I have to do dodge versus athletics. So we're going to try to move 1, 2. And I know it's a little tricky because it's not square grids. So our dodge is 60. And theirs Skeletal Horror's athletics is 40. Right, so we will roll this, see if we were able to move or not. 72 is a fail, 91 is a fail, but our dodge score is higher, so we will move. All right, so we are able to get away. We move 2 spaces, and I am going to have to spend some stamina to keep moving. So I'll spend 3 stamina. Move there. I've got 7 left. And I'm 2 spaces away. I just moved over 1 more. I'm 2 spaces away from this skeletal horror. And I've got 7 stamina left, so I'll use 5 to fire a shot. So it's 70 versus their combat rating of 40. That is bad. That is bad. We both failed. My combat rating is higher. I have a critical fumble though. So let's see. I think since it's a fumble, I should probably assume that it misses. In combat, when a character rolls doubles below their combat skill, this is a brutal strike. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Combat criticals have their damage doubled. Rolling a fumble will make things tougher for you. Roll on the fumble table to see what happens. When you are about to receive a critical hit, you can choose to sacrifice either your weapon. Okay. So we'll roll on the fumble table on page 40. The D10 roll. And based on that, we'll decide if we still do damage from the rolling higher rule. Again, you somehow manage to hurt yourself badly with your own weapon. You receive a critical hit. Yikes. So we will say in that case that we don't hit the skeleton. Instead, we hit ourselves with a critical. So instead of 1d6, we would roll 2d6. And then we'll see how much damage we take. 4 and 5. So that is going to be 3 damage. So we have 22 health. We will go down to 19 as we somehow manage to hurt ourselves with the bow. We still fired it though, so we'll have to do an arrow check. Still good on arrows, and that was a miss. So our determination score will go up to 3. Okay, and then we still had 2 stamina left that we didn't use, so we'll make a momentum roll. No, we didn't gain any momentum. All right, now it's back to the skeletal horrors. We're about 2 spaces away, so he's probably going to run up and attack us. Let's see what he's going to do. 2. That is attack with the cutlass, so he can move 1 and 2. He'll get right in front of us. That doesn't use any stamina, so he will go ahead and attempt 2 attacks. Let's see for his first attack. He is looking for, he's got a 9. That is a hit. We've got a 26. That is a dodge. And the 26 is higher. So we should dodge successfully. Might need to check the melee attack matrix first. Equal to or less than a skill score, the roll is higher. Okay. Let's see. All right, the roll is higher than the skill score. And it is not doubles. The roll is higher than the skill score. Okay. So the roll is equal to or lesser than the skill score. Not doubles. All right, so I believe that Attack misses and defense stir. The roll is higher than the skill score. It's not. The roll is equal to or less than the skill score, and it is not doubles. That's not it. The roll is equal to or lesser than the skill score. It is doubles. Right. The roll is equal to it. No, it is not doubles. Attacker hits if attacker rolls higher than defender. Attacker misses and defender gets defensive move if attacker rolls less than a defender. All right, so he rolled less than me. I still roll my defense, so I get a defensive move and he misses. Let's check and see what our defensive move is going to be. That's a D10 roll on the table on page 34. 9, you get a moment of respite after fending off your opponent's attack. Recover 2 health. So we'll go up to 21. All right. Fully recovered from hurting ourselves, and then he will attack us again. He needs a 50. We need a 60. We got an 81. We got a 68. Those are 2 fails. But our dodge score is higher than his crit roll, so he will still miss. All right. Then the other skeletal horror that is caught in the vines. We'll put this down to 2. He's going to have to try to make an athletics check to escape. So that was part of the restrained condition. Right, so it says the free action. So first for his free action, he's going to try to make an athletics check in order to remove the condition. So his athletics, this is his free action. Let's see what he's going to do with that. Page 163. What is the athletics on these guys? Athletics is 40, so if he rolls under 40, he gets out. So his first free action, he gets out. So he breaks out of the vines. And then he can move 2. He has to move 3 to get to me. So he'll move 1, 2, and 3. He'll use a stamina for that last one so that he has 7 stamina left. And then let's see what his action is. First slash, so he's going to try to attack me with his sword. He got a 94, which is a miss. And we got a 2. So we are going to get another defensive roll. All right. So defensive roll is page 34. All right, so let's roll the D10 as Kayla dodges out of the way. 3, your opponent receives the bleeding condition. Skeletons, I believe, are immune to bleed, though. So let me see on page 163. Or it's not skeletons, it's undead. His type is undead. I am 90% sure that they're immune to bleed. But bleed 1 would really just give him the... It wouldn't do any damage. It would have to get it to bleed 2 before it actually started doing damage. Undead on page 105. Holy damage is vulnerable, immune to bleeding, poison, and fright. All right. And then it's my turn. So we are adjacent to them again, so we're going to take 1 shock. Shock doesn't start to hurt you until it gets up to 7. So we are at 2 shock in total. We are going to try to move away. So that's going to be an athletics check. Or a dodge roll. We have to roll under 60. 18, we are able to move away. Oh, versus their athletics. Hold on. They got 18. Let me see what they get for their athletics. 28. They might not let us move. They might not let us move. Their athletics is 40. Yep, and they rolled higher, so we are not able to move. That means we're going to have disadvantage on our ranged attack. So disadvantage means you have to flop the dice to be whatever is the least beneficial to you. So we're stuck there. We're gonna attack with the short bow. Ooh, 91. That is the worst for us, but both of those are misses because they have to roll under a 40. And since our skill is higher, we will hit. They failed their dodge roll, so we get the +1 piercing damage. But we get -1 because we missed, and +1 from the dread shot. So really, it's +1 altogether. So 5 + 1 is 6. 6 will do 2 damage, and we will destroy the first skeletal horror. So he collapses into a pile of dust. And now we've got one more to deal with. Right, so for our second action, we will, at disadvantage, shoot at the other skeletal horror. Right, so again, 64, that is 2 failed misses. So they don't meet their dodge, which means our piercing does +1 damage. We get -1 damage because we missed. Our determination goes up last turn. It goes up to 4. Then it'll go up to 5 this turn also. But we still get to do our damage. So we'll roll damage on this guy. 5 + 1, so that'll be 6. So again, our dread shot gives us +1. We do -1 damage because we rolled high on the skill roll. But because if we have piercing arrows and they failed their dodge roll, we get a +1. So that's why this die roll goes up to 6. 6 equals 2 damage. So we'll put 2 damage on that skeletal horror. We increased our determination to 5. Let's make 2d8 rolls for our 2 shots. How are we doing ammo? Still good off of the first shot. Still good. So we still got plenty of ammo. And then it's the next round. We'll see what the skeletal horror does. That is a slash. He is still right next to us, so he's just going to try to slice us with his blade. He's the aggressor, so this turn he needs a 50, and we need a 60 to dodge. So 53, we passed our dodge roll, and they got a 56. Let me make sure their combat rating is 40 and not 50. Let me double check. 163, their combat skill is a 40, so they need a 50. So they barely failed. We passed ours with a 53. So we are going to get a defensive ability. D10 roll. Let's see what we get. 9. You recover health, so we're back up to full. We're full health, and he gets one more attack on us. 82 is a miss. 66 is a critical fumble, but that is on a dodge test. So I need to find the critical fumble table. Let's see if we can find that. There are critical successes and critical failure tables for each of the stats, each of the skills. And it's a little bit hidden in here, but I'll try to find it. Page 24 is what it's referencing in the index. Yep, dodge. Critical fumble on a dodge, and I needed a 60, and I wrote, yep. So he missed. I did not beat my dodge skill. Clumsy misstep. The character loses their footing or makes a critical error in judgment, making them an easier target. They receive double damage from the source they're trying to avoid. Okay, fortunately, they missed with an 82. So I won't receive double damage. And then it's our turn. We are going to try to move away. So a dodge test versus their 40 athletics. 48, they fail. 35, we pass. So we are going to move 1, 2 over their friend's body. And then do we want to spend 1 more to get 1 more away? I think so. We'll spend 3 stamina to get 1 more away. And then we will also take 3 exhaustion points for 3 more stamina. and get one more away. All right. So you have this exhaustion chart on your character sheet. You can spend up to 5 to trade for stamina points. So we're going to spend 3. If you pass this circle, you get another shock. Oh, come to mention, our shock goes up to 3 because we started our turn next to the skeletal horror. Our shock is at 3. Nothing to worry about until we get to 7. Just want to get a little bit more distance. But we only have enough stamina left for 1 shot. So we still got 7 stamina left because we spent some exhaustion. We'll take our last shot with our short bow. We need a 70, and they are defending with a 40. 74 for them is a fail. 70 for us is exactly what we need to hit. So we will roll damage. They failed their dodge roll. So we're going to get +1 for piercing weapon and +1 from dread shot. So 3 + 2 is 5. He'll take 2 more damage. So he's got 4 damage, 4 life left. We'll roll our arrows. We're fine on arrows. We'll roll momentum because we have 2 stamina left, technically. No gain in momentum. Right, then it is back to the skeletal horrors at the top of the round. Let's see what they do. That is cursed slash, so it is going to come towards us. So it's going to move 1, 2. And then it's going to spend the stamina 3. 3 stamina. And it has to spend 3 more stamina to get up here. All right. So it gets back in our face, but it doesn't have enough to attack, that was our goal. So he moved from back here 2 spaces on his turn, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 to get over here. So he has 1 stamina left. He can't attack. We're going to make a momentum roll. So their momentum die goes down to a D4. So if he rolls a 1 on a D4, if he doesn't spend all his stamina next turn, he'll get 10 stamina and be able to activate immediately. All right. Now it is our turn. So in order to avoid the disadvantage, we're going to have to try to move away. So we're going to try to move 1, 2. Let's see if we can. Dodge versus athletics. So 60 versus 40. 37. 42. We are able to get away. And then we will attack. 2 attacks. 70 versus 40. 43 is a hit. 79, they fail their dodge roll, so we'll get +2 damage. 1 for dread shot, 1 for piercing arrow. 4 + 2 is 6. That's going to be 2 more damage. Takes him up to 6. It's got 2 life left. Arrow check. We're good. Draws back on the short bow again. Takes a shot. 80 is a miss. 55 is a fumble. So we will get a 6 determination point. They're going to roll on the fumble table. Let's find that. Not defensive move. Fumble. Where's fumble? Fumble. All right, D10 table. That's on page 41. Or the creature exposes a weakness in its attack pattern, granting their target advantage on their defensive checks for the next 2 rounds. Right, so we get advantage on defensive checks for the next 2 rounds. All right, so we'll just put that little green dice to help us remember that. And then we'll roll the damage. Because both of us missed, but our skill is high, so we'll only get a +1 to this roll. That's all we need. 7, 3 damage, Skeletal horror explodes in a pile of bones, and we stand victorious in the arena. Right. The skeleton is dead. Did we roll any criticals? Now, whenever you roll a critical, you get to mark it off on your sheet. But I don't think we rolled any criticals that whole match. Yeah, we didn't roll any criticals. If we had rolled a critical, we would mark the little box on the character sheet, and then you could do a progression roll when you're ready to, when you do your downtime. All right, that's going to conclude the tutorial. The last thing you would do for the match is you would see what kind of components for loot that you got. So let me go back to the crafting section of the book real quick. For regular enemies, let's see, where's crafting at? Masteries, crafting, the gear, black powder weapons, crafting gear. So you get 2 times aspects and D4 plus 1 materials. So there's different aspects on this chart. You have Bane, Boon, Chaos, Elemental, Power, and Shadow aspects. And then for materials, you get Arcane, Dust, Bones, Metal, Mineral, Scales, and Vitae. And you do that once per the group. Now, if we had scored a critical hit against one of the skeletons, we would have been able to get a +1 material. But for now, it's D4 plus 1. If we got a critical, it would have been D4 plus 2. So we got a 2. So we would get 2 aspects and 3 materials. So we'll roll these 2 blue dice for our 2 aspects. 1 and a 5. So we got a Bane and Power. So a Bane and Power aspect. And then we could jot that down somewhere on our character sheet. So we'll put Bane and Power. And you can use these materials to upgrade items and different properties and things like that. In materials, we got 3, right? 3 materials. So 1, 2. We'll roll 3 dice and see what we got for this. 2 5s and a 6s. So we got 2 scales and vitae. We got scales and vitae. All right. And after you do that beginning adventure or the beginning fight in the arena, it says go to your patron for the next step, and all that stuff is on page 89. All right, but that is going to conclude our playthrough of your first match in Carnage and Aether, Revenants of Veldonia, tactical arena battles in the world of Ker Nethalas. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough. This is casual gameplay. If I made any mistakes, feel free to let me know in the comments. Also be cool if you want to share your character's abilities or how they did in their first match. That'd be nice as well. Feel free to hit that like button if you'd like to see me continue the playthrough of Carnage and Aether. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching and have a great day.